one of the common questions that has been coming up is, what does the actual DJI Go 4 app look like? Now, obviously, I've got one of the videos out there where I'm flying around and I'm trying out some of the different flight modes. However, a lot of you have been asking about what the menus look like and what the actual camera settings and everything within the app look like. So I'm going to go through some of those today, and that way we can see what you're going to be looking at and what settings that you'll have access to. So let me go over first some of the camera settings, since that was what was requested of me. So I'll go ahead and click on the camera button setting there. And from here right now we're in video mode, so it gives us the different options for that. Obviously you get to choose manual or automatic. And overall it's pretty easy to get into. Obviously it's just clicking the button, but you really don't have many settings that you can really play with. Obviously if you go into manual, you can adjust your ISO and see, of course, the changes on that accordingly, along with your shutter speed. And it just, you don't really have a lot of options when it comes to changing the settings on this, but that's okay because, I mean, realistically, you're using this just to get kind of quick shots. You don't need super professional performance out of it, nor is DJI probably going to give that to us. So then again, of course, click on the video button and just says video. You don't get frame rates or image size or anything like that. And then lastly is your settings for the actual camera, so you can get a little histogram on there, so you can see what the image sensor is actually seeing, because sometimes it's a little bit different than your screen. And then of course you can also have the display right there that shows you your camera settings, so then that way when you're not in here you can see them at the top. And then of course you get your white balance, so you can adjust that, which will adjust the color on there. I'm not even going to get into that. If you have questions on it, most likely just leave it on auto, but you can look up and see, of course, different things that those do. And then you've got an option for grid lines, so you can set it up however you want. I know sometimes when I'm using the Mavic, I set up the grid lines with the diagonal, so that way you can really see exactly what's in the center. But for the most part with this, you're framing shots, you're hitting go and letting the camera do its thing. So those are your camera settings for video. And then if you switch over to photo, same thing. You still have access to full manual or automatic control on here. And then for photo mode, you get a lot more options though. You get single shot, multiple, exposure bracketing, time shot, shallow focus, pano, and I'll be doing videos on all of those setups here in a little bit. But for now, this is just kind of going through the overall basis of what you're looking at on screen. And then same thing with your settings. You get a chance to see all of the same displays that you basically had the option of viewing with the video mode. So exiting out of there, next we'll head into the regular settings. So we'll start up here at the top. And of course, if you have a DJI product already, you are familiar with this and you'll understand basically. But there's all the different settings in here for how high you want it to go, and if you return home, what is the actual Spark going to be doing. And then of course you have your obstacle avoidance, which most of the time you'll be leaving on, but there are times that you're going to be turning those off, whether you're in an environment that it doesn't respond well with it, or perhaps you're over water where you don't want it, getting confused by reflections and that kind of thing. And then of course you've got your remote controller settings, and I currently have not set up my custom modes on there for the buttons. Obviously you can go and do that, but most of the time I'm just doing run and gun stuff with this, and I'm not, I don't need to save myself the 2 seconds by clicking over to that. But of course, if you do, there are some options in there, so that way you can see and customize it and make it a little bit easier for you to figure out what stuff that you want access to frequently, and obviously assign it to a button on the controller. Below that is your Wi-Fi settings, and so that will basically be going over information about the environment that you're in and reception, battery. So this gives you a breakdown of the individual battery cells within the battery pack, overall voltage. You get to adjust your low battery warning, and so it's just pretty convenient. It's easy to see, and it gives you exact amount of power remaining and charged, as well as your times charged. So that way okay, if this battery's been charged hundreds of times and you're not getting the performance out of it that you're expecting, well, it might just be that the battery is used. And then, of course, you have your gimbal settings, and you get to adjust the roll and pitch of the camera if you need to, which most of the time I'd say you don't, but it is in there, so that way you can adjust that. And then lastly, you get units, so imperial for us because I like to see things in feet. And then, of course, you get to select your live stream broadcast. So if you're going to be streaming straight to Facebook or YouTube, obviously that's where you're going to be at. And then, of course, more settings for the actual Spark itself. And then you have video cache for your device that you're using. You can adjust how much video cache that you're using and whether or not it's deleting things automatically and whether it's recording audio. So important, if you are recording audio, it should be recording audio from your device. So it's not going to be capturing the sound that the drone hears, because that more than likely would only be a bunch of buzzing and humming. And then, of course, you get to change the device name, and you get about, which gives you your serial number and everything else. So anyway, so I hope that helps with some of the menus on here, so that way you know what you should be expecting to see and what options that you're going to have. If you have any more questions or you want me to go over something more, let me know, and I can open this back up, obviously, and fire up the app and kind of walk you through and show you the different options that you have for your Spark. If you like what I'm doing, go ahead and click subscribe or hit the like button, and don't forget to comment if you have any questions about any products or any of the videos that I've done or any videos that you want me to do. And then one last little tidbit in here. I haven't tried this with flying yet, but I just realized if you touch and hold the screen, the little arrow comes up and you can tell the camera to go up or down. So I'm curious if you're flying, if you can go left and right and make the camera turn left and right, obviously rotating the Spark, which I think you might be able to do, but I'll be trying that out next time I'm flying.